Pamela Ann with easy messages, messages that can help you command your world with such perfection you can even set a date on it. Today I'm going to talk about a few things. Well, mainly we're going to focus on fasting and short-term fasting like intermittent fasting and long-term fasting. Some of the positive things that it can provide for you. I have been doing intermittent fasting for years, so it's no big deal for me. I really like it a lot because I get up and I have these very specialized drinks in the morning that do not have a lot of calories except for one that does have some MTC oil in it so that I can be able to properly absorb some of the supplements that I take to create the hormones that the body needs to have to run seamlessly. And that would be like your vitamin D and stuff. Wow, there's like 900 things in your body that vitamin D produces for you, and if you don't have that, that's a problem. And if you don't have cholesterol, vitamin D is created through your cholesterol. That's even more of a problem, and your brain really requires fats. Really requires fats. So this low fat kind of diet stuff tanked a lot of people. And I know that I have high cholesterol, but it's a good cholesterol because I only take raw fats. I don't take the cooked fats unless it's like in some salmon or something like that and it happens to be cooked within that. But I bake it, I don't fry it. So yeah, that's super important because you have to have those raw fats. And I've addressed this before, but you must have a ratio of 4:1 raw fats of short and medium chain fatty acids to 1 ratio of long chain fatty acids to be able to restructure every single cell of your body. And like your liver it's made up of a lot of fats. And if you took your liver and you stretched it out, like each layer of cells of your liver, it'd be like the size of a football field almost. So that sounds like, how can that possibly be so? Well, the cells are different size cells than some of these other cells, but it has to have the raw fats, and you can't just get these raw fats by going into the dumpster and trying to, pull out the stuff and try to get this essential fats in your body without having it from a really great source. So right now, I've put on a little bit of weight. And when I say a little bit of weight, I'm saying maybe 5 pounds over what I feel comfortable with. And so I'm going to go on a long-term fast. And it's like, wait a second. You've only gone like 5 pounds over and you're going on a long-term fast? And yeah, I am. Why? Because through this way of autophagy, that your body will go in and restructure itself, rebuild itself. It will cleanse out all these things that might be kind of setting up for your demise, so to speak. If you don't do that from time to time, it's a problem, because when you go onto these fasts, it will not allow cancer to grow. I mean, if you've got some cancer in you, and everybody has some of that happening in their body, it basically starves it out, because cancer cells really love sugar. And I don't get it why you go into doctor's offices, you go in to have chemotherapy and other things like that, and they've got bowls of candy. I'm like, really? That's kind of a head scratcher. That is not supportive of patients who have issues with cancer, because they have issues with cancer. And having diets that are full of starch and starchy foods, breads, flours, white potatoes, some of these things, that's not in your best interest. And I used to have this issue. I know this is like years and years ago. I'd wake up and feel like a train had hit me, a bus had hit me. I was just like, oh my gosh, I have a headache, I feel sick, I ache all over, I just feel horrible. What the heck is going on? Well, I have a liver that wasn't functioning right because of MTHFR, which I didn't know I had. Genetic disorder, mutations, and I had all of them, plus about 68 SNPs that were associated with, that are called MTH SNPs. And so, yeah, my liver definitely was not working right. So it could not properly detoxify my body, and it had this major toxic overloads. But it wasn't just that. You know, if people drink alcohol and they wake up with a hangover, that's what I was literally having. I was literally having a hangover. And it wasn't like I was ODing big time on sugary things, but I had developed candida and some other bacterial things in my body, and that yeast overgrowth and things like that in my body was colonizing on my brain. Because why? The brain loves to get its energy off of sugar. So naturally it's going to colonize where you collect the most sugar. And what was happening is I became a little microbrewery. And the medical field is, functional doctors understand this. They understand that if you are having these starchy things, sugary things that will, or you know, the starchy things will convert right away into sugar, like your corn and your grains and these different things can convert right away into sugar, because a lot of them are just really highly processed type of things, so they don't convert slowly, they convert readily, and it will provide just this great feasting ground for these bacterias and yeast overgrowth and things like that to colonize in your brain and some other vital organs and things like that. So it creates an alcohol that your body, your liver, does not know how to deal with, especially if you have MTHFR. And a lot of people have MTHFR and they don't even know about it. They're just kind of like walking around wondering, why do they feel so horrible and why can nobody find out what's wrong with them? So, so I starved it out. I stopped having any of those things and I starved it out of my body, and I don't have those issues anymore. And to get rid of candida through that process, it takes some time, but I am devoted to making sure that I care for my body properly. I mean, I expected her to hang in there with me for many, many years, and I wasn't really there for her. I expected her to, come on, let's go for it, let's do this. And she was just like, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me, girl. So it's really important that we do our part to show up for life, for our bodies. And that sometimes you bite the bullet and do things that may not be the most like, oh wow, whoopsie, yeah, I'm really excited about this one. And really show up. And people will wonder, you know, why does sometimes other people in their lives not show up for them? Well, sometimes it's because they have sent out the memo. I'm not going to show up for me. I'm going to abandon me. I'm going to be so busy trying to do all this busy stuff to look good and have people accept me that I'm not even going to show up for me. And so it's really okay if you don't really see me as this major gift that I really am for the world. And it's not, it has nothing to do with narcissism or anything like that. It has everything to do with showing up for your spirit, to be able to dwell in this amazing vessel that has been created for you by the divine. Show up and do your part to really care for it. So because I you know, and I determined as a 3-year-old that I would never have problems with my weight being too cray-cray, because I saw that people worried too much about it and had too many issues with it. But if you are overweight, you literally have issues with your brain not working as well. And if you have these overgrowths of yeast and everything in your body and bacteria overgrowth and things like that, you actually start destroying brain cells. And there's a lot of things that start happening to start tanking you and diminishing the fullness of your life for you to show up for things. And it starts raising up your inflammatory markers, which also has a whole majority of people these days are dying from high inflammatory markers. So yeah, if you don't know how to do these things, contact me. I will help you. I will help you with that learning curve. You do not have to take decades to learn about these things like I did. I'm willing to share that information with you. And the information is going to be included in here if you go and look in the written directives that are part of this YouTube. So So I'm going on a long, now I was shocked when I got this one because I'm like, okay, I'm good to go for 3 days of fasting. I can do this. And because I've done intermittent fasting, I've eased into it, so I'm already, it's not like I'm going to have a huge toxic overload. But when I did muscle testing on it, it said 21 days. I'm like, wow, 21 days? Yeah, 21 days. But there's a way of doing these things so you're going to be okay. After the first day, because I was noticing my vision was starting to be somewhat affected, because I've had issues with a cyst in my macula that caused me to go blind, and the other macula was being pulled apart. I don't know how that was happening, but I could see it when the doctor was showing me this. And so I started eating a lot of folate foods and things like that, but picturing my body healing, picturing it. You can command these things to shift and change. Instead of going like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be blind forever, you can relax into it and literally say, I'm going to learn something from this. This is going to be a really good experience. And it came to pass. It didn't come to stay, so I'm going to be fine with this. And that's what I did. Well, the very first day that I started fasting, the next morning when I woke up, my vision was perfect. So this way of being able to fast, your body will go in, and because it's not so busy digesting all this stuff, it will go in, cleanse out every cell in your body, pull things out, reform things, cast out things it doesn't need anymore, really cleanse out your body and rebuild your body. It will grow your brain, the connective branches and things like that of your brain. It will help you with stem cell growth. It will help you with so many things when you really fast. And I fast very cautiously, very carefully, and I watch my everything, because of my liver not working as well. It will not go into ketosis the same as what a healthy liver would do. But this will help fatty liver. It'll help so many things. And it's really important also for your lymphatic system to be drained. If you have these weird lumps and bumps and stuff on your body, that can all shift and change. You're not to exercise during this time, because I refuse to lose my muscle mass. Muscle mass is really important to maintain, and I love having lots of muscles on my body. I really do. I like to be strong and vigorous. So if you are trying to exercise during this time, you're breaking down your muscle, but you have nothing to rebuild it, right? Because you're not taking in regular food. So don't be doing that. That would not be in your best interest. Just rest, meditate, write books. I'm doing videos and I'm still training people, so I'm still living my lifestyle. It's really okay, and you're not cooking. You have these different kind of teas and drinks and things like that, so it's actually less work to do this, and your grocery bills are nothing. So anyway, as an example, this is written on gray on white, so it's kind of hard to see, right? I couldn't read that. And so when I did that fasting, I can read it perfectly now. And that's really small print. And these are 70-year-old eyes, right? So it's like, okay, this is really working. So when you get that immediate response from your body, that feedback, you know is something good for you. And don't you know, I muscle tested 4 times to make sure. Are you sure 21 days? Yeah, 21 days. So I'll keep you posted. You can get to see the changes. Just, you have to make sure you're well hydrated. You can still take things like like I said, some of your raw fats and things like that. The reason why it has to be raw is if it is cooked, it's 1 carbon away from being plastic, and that cannot conduct electricity, and your body runs on electricity. So that's why you gotta have it raw. And your cells can't function right, so you're like a dead battery. And the other thing is if it is cooked, you start storing that fat on the outside. So that's why you have all your squishy stuff all over that starts forming, because it's cooked fat and the body's trying to get it away from your vital organs. All right, so if this is uplifting and supportive for you, consider sharing it with others, and also think about subscribing below so you'll always be included. And I'm going to keep you posted with what's going on with this, so stay in the loop. All right, take care, and know that I care about you. That's why I'm taking the time to share this information. Bye.